Hello, everybody. My name is Dave Thompson with Bare Bones Leadership. I want to welcome you today to today's webinar. Little background on Bare Bones Leadership. We're a leadership development company that utilizes military principles, strategies, and priorities to develop effective leaders. If you are interested and you are committed to improving your growth and development within leadership, and are looking to build your skill set, you've come to the right place. On today's webinar, we're going to go over an overview of the three priorities of leadership. Now, when we talk about the three priorities, you have to be willing to be non negotiable with them. These three priorities are what structures your approach, your effective approach to leading people and also leading yourself, which is just as important as having the ability to lead other people. At the end of the day, if we don't have the ability or the willingness to lead self daily, it's very hard to translate that into leading people and having that transition be effective. So, a little bit of background on me. I spent 23 years in the military. I have dozens of combat missions under my belt um, at a leadership position. I've spent 20 years in law enforcement, and I've derived all kinds of experiences, lessons learned, what's effective, certainly through law enforcement, what's not effective. And my goal, my mission, is to develop effective leaders. That's my mission. That's my end game, to develop effective leaders. Ideally, leaders that are more effective than I was or that I am. And that, ideally, in a perfect world, is what is the end game for an effective leader. And that is to grow and develop more effective leaders and have that legacy of leadership continue to grow, to develop, and evolve. It's a very selfless commitment. It's a very selfless endeavor. It's very honorable and very noble. So as we go along here and we start really getting into this webinar and the three priorities of leadership, let's keep in mind a few things. If we aren't willing as individuals to lead ourselves daily, to set the example, to be that resource for anyone we may be leading further down the line, then maybe we need to reevaluate why we're doing it. Are we doing it for self-fulfilling reasons? Are we doing it for selfless reasons? Are we doing it for the betterment of the whole? Or are we putting ourselves above the sum of the whole? I think those are important questions to really do like a deep down self-assessment of the why, why we're here and what we're doing and the reasons that we are kind of delving in and taking a leadership role. Now, when we talk about leadership roles, there's a few different ones. There's appointed roles, there's assumed roles, and there's influential people, right? And in my careers, I've been very fortunate to have been in each one. I've ascended in the military to an appointed leadership position, leading men and women. in some of the most austere environments in the world to a influential type leadership position in law enforcement where I had no appointed leadership, right? I had no rank, I had no um, appointed position of authority, to being an instructor where there was an assumed role of leadership, leading veteran officers, officer candidates to fulfill whatever our mission statement was at the time, right? So, in my opinion, I bring a unique perspective on hitting and having a real world experience from all three of those leadership roles. So, that's a little bit about me. Um, let's dive right into the three priorities of leadership. The very first priority, and again, as we utilize these priorities, understand that these are non negotiable, right? The first one is the overall goal, the mission statement. Whatever term is the end game for your organization, for your division, for your group, for your team, or for yourself. Why is that important? If you don't have a clearly communicated end game, a place to end up, how are you going to effectively lead yourself or lead people? Where are you leading them to? Where are you leading yourself to? Right? Is it infinity? You're just going to keep going in circles and circles, or do you have an end game? That's why it's important. You have to have a mission, and it has to be communicated. It has to be communicated simply and effectively. There's that saying, if you don't have the ability to communicate things simply and explain things simply, you just don't know it well enough. And that's something you need to work on when communicating a goal or a mission statement. Once you have that, the goal is everything. The goal is 100% of everything that you work for, in spite and despite of everything else. Nothing else matters except that goal. That goal is it. It doesn't it doesn't matter at all. Anything else is secondary, right? Personal feelings, personal biases, how other people feel about it, what what people want to perceive that is, none of that matters. It is what it is. In an ideal world, in the perfect world, everyone in your group, in your team, in your division, in your organization has believability and buy-in into that goal, right? In a perfect world. We don't live in a perfect world. That's not going to happen. So when we communicate that goal or that end game, we communicate two major things: the what the goal is, and why we're doing it, right? In the military terms, it's the task and the purpose. Give people the task and give people the purpose. Ensure that they understand it. Get feedback, get back briefs. This is what we're doing, and this is why we're doing it. Ask the question: what are we doing, and why are we doing? get that back brief. So those three parts of communication are fulfilled, and then move on. The goal, the mission statement is imperative. As you build relationships, you can work on the buy-in and the believability, right? Those don't necessarily have to be there, but an understanding of what is happening and what we are doing collectively and why we are doing it are imperative. Those have to be there, right? They absolutely have to be there. Without the mission, there's no need for a team. Without the team, there's no need for me, right? So that brings us to our second priority, and that is the team, right? The people. The people who are going to fulfill that mission statement or that goal. They have to be taken care of, right? They have to be taken care of. You have to take care of your people. Absolutely have to. There are basic human needs. Now, as a leader, as somebody who has appointed, assumed, or influential leadership positions, one thing that, in my opinion, and again, this is a way, not the way, as far as fulfilling this priority. Priority is non-negotiable. How you do it is this is my way. You have to. You have to understand the human condition, right? You have to understand human nature, physiologically, biologically, neurologically, psychologically, how human beings work. Right? And one way to do that is really take a deep dive into the human condition, right? You can definitely take a deep dive into Robert Greene and specifically Abraham Maslow. And if we really dive into it, you can get into the hierarchy of human needs, right? So if you have a team and we're using that triangle, right? The building blocks of self-actualization. The very first one is human needs, basic, fundamental human needs, right? Shelter, food, water, procreation, all that stuff. Those are all good, and you don't have a lot of control over that. The last two you do, and that is safety and security. We have to make sure that our teams, our people, ourselves, we are safe and secure. Secure in our environment, our climate, the work environment and how we operate and where we operate, risk mitigation. And not everything's always going to be, comfy and cozy and all that. And that's in certain industries, it that is an inherent part of what you do. In other industries, that safety and security could mean job stability. It could mean um, the way people ascend. It could be um, an environment that fosters hard work, that they punish in private, praise in public, those type of things, making things attainable, counseling, working on career goals, and giving people skill sets, even if they leave, right? Even if they leave the team or the division or even in the organization, if they have something that secures them for whatever position or whatever they're working towards, you're still providing that security, right? And that safety and security that transcends from work life to home life, stabilizing family and households and those type of areas that gives you a safe and secure teammate, subordinate, team member. And that's what we're looking for when we talk about the second priority of the team, the people, right? So we have the overall goal, the team, and the third one is me personally. So when we're going through this, the overall goal, the team, and then me. As we'll see in a second, we number these 1, 2, and 3, when in actuality, they could be 1, 1A, and 1B. They're that close. So when we talk about me, if I'm going to be in a position of influence, right, a position of leadership, more than a boss, more than a supervisor, and more than a manager, right? I want to exceed that. I want to be effective. I want to lead. I have to take care of myself. I have to be and present and project to be healthy. First of all, I have to be healthy. Mind, body, and spirit. I have to be healthy. I have to present myself as wholly, WHOLEY, wholly healthy, right? I have to set the example. I have to lead myself daily. And whatever that takes for me to do so is what I have to do. Leadership isn't punching in 8 to 4, 9 to 5, or whatever the hours or shifts may be. In order for me to be effective, it's going to take the extra time. If that means that I have to get up 90 minutes early to hit the gym, to do my journaling, to do my uh, mindfulness, whatever systems, routines, habits that I have that are effective for me to be a better leader, then that's what I have to do. I have to set the example. If I start falling off on that stuff and then going into my place of work and asking other people to make that commitment and not making it myself, I'm going to be exposed eventually. You might get away with it here and there. You might think you get away with it. Um, you're not giving people the credit they deserve. You'll be exposed. People will see right through it. And maybe because in the position you're in or how far you've ascended, people aren't going to be willing to call you on that. But they certainly will behind your back, right? And all that does is cut down your credibility, right? It'll cut down your credibility. Credibility isn't up to you. It's not. What is up to you, what you can control, is you. It's important that the people that you're leading, including yourself, see your commitment. It's going to shine through, right? The way you dress, the way you present yourself, the way you articulate, the way you communicate, the way you ask for feedback, the approaches you take, those will come through. It's very important to take care of yourself. If you can't take care of yourself, you'll never be able to take care of the team. The team will never be able to take care of the overall mission or the goal. And that's the way it works. It works top to bottom, bottom to top. It's a very fluid priority list. Taking care of ourselves is just as important as having a clearly defined goal, which is just as important in having the ability to take care of the team and to take care of the team and to follow through on those things. Be who you pretend to be. I like to use that a lot. Be exactly who you pretend to be. If you pretend that you are in shape, well, be in shape. If you pretend that you are dedicated to the mission and the people, be dedicated to them. The greatest lies we tell are the lies that we tell ourselves. And again, that those things will be exposed. So take care of yourself. Lead self daily. And that means putting in the extra work to educate yourself, right? These priorities are historically accurate in having and developing into effective leaders, right? Here at Bare Bones, we can certainly help you with that. If you like what you're hearing so far, if you're into the leadership and you are any of these priorities, any of these approaches resonate with you, click the button below and set up a call. I'll be happy to sit down for 45 minutes with you and go over a discovery call, see where you're at, see if there's anything that we can do to help, see if we're a good fit. It's worth it, right? If it's worth being part of a team, if it's worth being involved in something that has an actionable goal, a well defined, communicated goal, especially if you have a lot of believability in it, right? If you've bought into it, it's worth the effort, right? It's worth the growth and development. It's worth the extra time and energy, right? Being a leader, again, is a very selfless endeavor, right? Giving of yourself to those so that everybody benefits. That's at the end of the day. You fulfill something, right? You fulfill something greater than yourself. There's not a lot of that anymore, especially at the tail end of my law enforcement career. And it is what it is, right? We can do a couple of different things, right? We can accept it as it is, go along to get along, and be miserable. Or we can control what we can control, and that is ourselves, right? If we can't outwardly make things better in our environment because we can't control it, we can't control it at all. We can control ourselves, right? We can be the best version of ourselves that contribute to a stronger team. If you're the strongest member on your team, you have a duty or an obligation or a moral obligation to strengthen the rest of the team by example, by being a resource. You can, especially if you're willing to use those three priorities we had talked about earlier. It's very doable, very doable. And it's a simple approach. Make no mistake, simple has never in the history of ever equated to easy, right? And nothing in this world that's easy is ever worth it, right? Again, if you guys, anybody listening, anybody is interested in growing and developing your leadership skills, and anything here so far has resonated with you, click that button below, set up the call, and let's have a talk. Okay? I am available uh, whenever is convenient for you, right? We live by certain codes and ethos that kind of direct our life, right? Are you in the right direction? Are you doing what you can in the environment that you're in? Do you hate your environment, right? Is the environment not conducive to your values and principles? Give us a call. Let's see what we can do about that, right? Um, I'll tell you right now, there's no secret. You're not going to be able to change your environment. You can get out of it, but are you just taking that basic set of issues and just moving into another environment? You might be. Here at Bare Bones, again, we talk a lot about leading self daily, right? So I hope you guys got something out of this. I hope you guys, you know, have a little more clarity when it comes to military style leadership. When we talk about the three priorities, the overall goal, the team, and me, they're applicable in any industry, right? Any industry whatsoever. And more importantly, they're applicable, they can apply to yourself as well. My name is Dave Thompson. I appreciate your time today. Again, give us a call, click that button, set up a time that's convenient for you, and we'll go ahead and we'll discuss your future, right? Your leadership future. So, all you potential leaders out there, go ahead and click that button. I appreciate your time tonight, and we'll definitely talk to you soon. Find purpose and live with passion. Thank you.